Kevin Stefanski is the coach of the Cleveland Browns. He's a really good coach, and he's dealt with some ownership stuff and the Baker stuff, and he's a really, really good coach. I think he's one of the only 2 or 3 coaches in the NFL that's an Ivy Leaguer. I think he went to Penn or something. I mean, really smart guy. I love the way he calls the game. And to, dealing with the nonsense he's dealt with, he and Andrew Berry, the GM, are obviously know what they're doing. So he was talking about Patrick Mahomes, and sometimes because the NBA is a star league and the NFL is more about the shield and the team, I think we forget just how big of a star Patrick Mahomes is. 123 million people watch the Super Bowl. You know that game that Mahomes keeps getting into and mostly winning? The Olympic ratings for basketball were the highest ratings for any basketball game in a year, got 20 million. He got over 6 times that for one game. Most, overwhelmingly, 90% of the greatest players ever, other star athletes don't mimic. There's not a lot of Peyton Manning copycats or Tom Brady copycats. Now, Aaron Rodgers and Mahomes, stylistically, you see guys throwing off platform, no-look passes, they get mimicked. Steph Curry gets mimicked. Nobody tried the skyhook with Kareem. LeBron didn't change the game. He was just great. A lot of guys, most players don't change the game. They're just really productive, and they win. Even the great ones. Nobody's copying Tim Duncan. But I always think there's a certain audacity to the way Mahomes and Steph Curry plays. And Stefanski says they're kind of the same. They change the game. And I do believe that's true with both Mahomes and Steph Curry. And I also think there's a joyfulness and a playfulness to their style. But whenever you're just great, right, I think sometimes it overshadows fundamentals. When I think of Steph Curry, you know what I think of? His pregame routine. It's the most intense in the league. I've had multiple coaches I've talked to about Steph Curry. They're like, you have no idea how hard he works. And then you watch the games. Has there ever been a player in league history that works as hard as Steph Curry to get his shot? And Patrick Mahomes, last year, yards per attempt, he was 19th. Mahomes has become a great quarterback, better since Tyreek Hill left. Neither one's rigid. They can play in multiple styles with multiple teammates. I always said Steph Curry was willing to play with Kevin Durant. Carmelo Anthony was threatened by Jeremy Lin. I like Trae Young a lot, but he can't get along with DeJounte Murray. Come on, man. It's like part of the greatness of Mahomes and Curry, they never get in their own way. Mahomes has virtually no ego. He's making $50 million a year, 40 endorsements, beautiful wife. Literally, he laughs at the dad bod jokes. He laughs at it. He's not insecure about it. He's not threatened by it. Takes the shirt off, take a picture, he laughs at it. He lets the cameras in Netflix to his house. He laughs at some of the dysfunction. By the way, dysfunction we all have in our lives, he just laughs at it. No insecurity. Steph Curry comes out with shoes. Remember those shoes, that shoe line? It's like, that's what pharmacists wear. What in the gut? He laughs at it. They're so secure in themselves, they never get in their own way. And there's so many great stars out there. Once you're great and you're stylish and great, you don't get credit for your IQ, your EQ, your coachability, your self-awareness, not stepping on others' toes. And I hope we all realize Steph Curry's the hardest working guy in the league. Nobody's ever worked harder to get a shot, fight through screens. Nobody. And that's what I think about when I think of him, is that pregame workout. And look at what Mahomes has done since Tyreek Hill left. He wasn't rigid. He didn't try to force it. He's like, I'll dink and dunk. And he wins back-to-back Super Bowls. So I think a lot of times it gets overshadowed. All you kids want to copy these guys, just to let you know, it's the lack of ego, coachability, and the fundamentals and the work ethic that creates this. Nobody comes out of the womb looking like Steph and Mahomes. You got to put the hours in. So I thought it was interesting. Aaron Rodgers, I'll say this for Aaron Rodgers. He talks. He's great content. He's not ducking anybody. I always appreciated that. I'm never going to criticize a guy that's always available. He doesn't hide from anybody. And he did talk. Yesterday he was talking about this has been a tough camp for him. I imagine camps get tougher as you get older. One of the things I love about the NFL, it's the opposite of baseball. They don't romanticize anything. Like year to year, nobody cares. Do your job. championship parade. Brady gets a little loopy in Tampa, almost throws the trophy into the pond, and then it's like, all right, see you in 2 weeks. Let's get back to work. And that's what I love about it. It's about the grind. It's not about romanticizing the 50s, 60s, 70s. Nobody cares. I mean, think about this. Just in 1 year with the Jets, Aaron's gone from the savior, basically saying, I want Allen Lazard, Randall Cobb, and Nat Hackett, getting kind of what he wants, calling the shots in the organization. And 1 year later, Robert Saleh called him out at a press conference and fined him. When Aaron was gone, somebody else, not Nat Hackett, called the plays in camp. He's now viewed as a liability. They've brought in new receivers to push Allen Lazard down the depth chart. And training camp, Aaron saying it, is absolutely no cakewalk. It's been brutal. And what a difference a year makes. I mean, the first year for Aaron in the NFL, in New York, was a parade celebrating Aaron's arrival. And that's what it was. This year, it's a military march. And if you don't achieve your goals, it's failure. And that's what it feels like. And just to give you an example, and we all know Aaron's going to be a Hall of Famer. Just to give you an example, this thing could go off the rails quickly. They may lose to San Francisco, but what if they lost to Will Levis or a Sam Darnold or a Jacoby Brissett? This thing could turn fast. Just to show you how little we romanticize football and that how every year is different. I've been saying this with Aaron. Stop falling in love with his last great year. The last time Aaron was truly great was 3 years ago. Here's what was happening in the NFL just 3 years ago. Trey Lance and Jimmy G were the Niners quarterbacks. The Lions were 3-13-1 and a dysfunctional mess, we thought. Mac Jones was a Pro Bowler, and the Titans were the number one seed in the AFC. They're now lost as a franchise. The last time Aaron Rodgers was great. So you're like, whoa. That stuff feels like a decade ago. Mac Jones was a Pro Bowler. They couldn't give him away this offseason. Couldn't give him away. So nobody really cares. Ian O'Connor, who wrote the book that just came out 2 days ago on Aaron, says they struggle this year. They're all getting swept out.
I do think if the Jets are 2-5, this could really go south and get ugly in a hurry because he's lost some of that goodwill from Jets fans. They loved him last year. New York City fell in love with Aaron like I've never seen the city fall in love with a superstar. If they're having a losing season, first of all, everyone's getting fired. Saleh's getting fired. Hackett's getting fired. Joe Douglas is getting fired. And Aaron might get fired. Woody Johnson loves having a star quarterback. If Aaron plays a decent level of football and they have a losing season, it's possible Woody will bring him back with the new coach. But chances are, if they don't make the playoffs, Rodgers is out of the building with everyone else.
Yep. And last year it was a victory parade when he showed up celebrating his arrival. It is now a military march. Here's the goal, get it or failure. And that's the way it should be. And that's why football is great. Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.